national security threat, foreign threat to America right now, and what would you do to fix it?
Well, the number one threat, the number one responsibility for the president is to protect the people of the United States of America. Would that there were only one threat. There are always threats, and they're always evolving.
What's the most important one? What's the greatest danger?
The greatest danger that we face right now on a consistent basis in terms of man-made threats is nuclear Iran, and related to that, extremist violence. I don't think you can separate the two. I think they go together. In terms of natural threats, clearly it's climate change, and we have to confront man-made and natural threats.
So if it's nuclear Iran, is the answer striking a deal with Iran, as President Obama has said, or not taking the deal that President Obama is searching for, as Prime Minister Netanyahu has argued?
Well, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? I'm hopeful, and in our state, we passed some of the earliest and strongest sanctions against Iranian nuclear development of any state in the Union. The goal was to drive the Iranians to the negotiating table. And I think we should support the president in achieving that negotiated settlement. I mean, when you see 47 members of the Senate writing the letter like they had, it's a sad day for our country. If you hate the president of the United States more than you distrust the Ayatollah, then you probably shouldn't be in the United States Senate.
Jack O'Malley? Where's Jack?
Where's Jack?
All right.
Where's Jack?
No. Martin. Where's Martin? Sorry.
I spill hot sauce on your fancy rug and you don't give a shit. I been holding with the boys all night, even ain't no federal crime. Toss me the keys to your daddy's Corvette and say just bring it back sometime. Darling, yes, the truth is just so plain to see. I like you better when you've been drinking.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're almost there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the April 1st edition of Lock and Load Radio. I am joined by the fabulous Mike Doherty. Thank you for coming down again. Appreciate it. And we have much to talk about, not the least of which is our silly former governor. My.
Jack, where's Jack?
Right. Good God.
When the president of your own party can't even remember your first name in the neighboring state.
Well, it's worse because wasn't O'Malley president or chairman of the Democrat Governors Association? I think he was.
I think so, but I don't honestly track it. So
yeah, no, pretty sure he was. So yeah, that and so well, I'm not really sure. Oh my goodness! But the greatest danger that we face right now, it on a consistent basis in terms of man-made threats is nuclear Iran. Related to that, extremist violence. I don't think you can separate the two. Okay, whoever is his campaign manager or PR person needs to be smacked because that was an easy question, and he should have expected that from the word go. From the word go. I mean, there are some basic questions that if you don't
know. The man has no experience on a national stage and just showed himself to be a completely inept on the international stage as well.
Yeah. And he says, he also says the presidency of the United States is not some crown to be passed between two families. But when asked if he was talking about the Clintons and the Bushes, when George Stephanopoulos, because I watched the video, when asked, he was like, well, any two families. It's like, okay, so you stepped in it because you supported Hillary Clinton with her first run, and now you're too afraid to attack her now because God knows, it's the presidency, and this is all going to be let's hold hands and sing kumbaya. You want to win the presidency, then you better start acting like a president. So, and a president ain't going to screw around. So, just checking out the chat room. poor Bolts. He's had a tough week, but we have lots of company, and I'm glad to see everybody. And welcome. He could have just stopped. Could have just stopped with inept.
Inept.
Inept. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. So anyway, I got a boatload of stuff to go over. Let's
A
see.
boatload this time.
A
huh?
boatload? A boatload? Well, you are a Marine. I am the mother of a Marine. Would you rather it be a truckload?
No, it can be whatever you want it to be. It's your show.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we are even joined by at least one out of state listener. So I'd like to welcome him, and actually probably should be nice about it and get him a link to the chat so he can harass everybody because he's very good at that. But anyway, Bart's Sports World, after 57 years, closed. And apparently they closed because between their owners just took the opportunity to retire because of the state gun laws, and the subheadline says big box competition, but when you read the article, I didn't really get that. What I got was that it was about the gun laws, and then it says things have been slow ever since the Firearm Safety Act of 2013. Competition from the internet. Oh, okay, and big box stores have not helped. But 75-year-old Jack. Trying to find his name. I should have highlighted his name in here. I think his last name is Smith. But anyway, the owner, 75 years old. This was never work. I was glad to do it. Our customers are our friends. You know them by name. They know you by name. One of the other staff members was saying, or maybe it's one of the sons, I'm not sure, was saying that he began working there. No, it's a staffer. Began working there in 2002, and during his first week, he took a phone order for a customer in Alaska who wanted a used $85,000 shotgun. He shipped it without taking any credit card information. The owners didn't worry, and the customer was honest and sent the check. So it's good business. It's good business. So unfortunately, they have closed, and we're sorry to see them go. But you can thank Martin O'Malley.
Gotta love the Firearm Safety Act of 2013.
Bane of my existence.
Or how does some of our favorite listeners put it? The Freedom Suppression Act.
I like that, actually. I like that very much. It's really good. Woodstock has joined us, and he's brought beer. I am drinking Relax from Centerville Liquors. And everybody shout out to Jim at Centerville Liquors. Although I wasn't in there today, so I hope he's listening. He usually has us on this store, and we're deeply appreciative of that.
Just have to watch the time.
yes, it's not 9:00 yet. That is the rule. So,
although Dan's not here, so it's actually a little bit easier.
Okay, and yeah, right. Chat link is here. Hold on one second. I'm just trying to.
So, while she's looking up something out of curiosity, folks, how is the audio and video quality? If somebody could tell me in the chat room, I'd
yes,
appreciate
that
it.
would be very helpful. We're trying something new this week.
So,
okay,
you got dead air there, dear.
Huh? Oh, breaking
Dead
news.
air.
Dead air. I'm sorry. Breaking news. The district, this just appeared at 7:00 tonight on Washington Post, written by Spencer Sue, Bill Turk, and Jenna Portnoy. Actually, I talked to Jenna Portnoy last week about the Colby thing. City, the district will drop its appeal of a federal judge's ruling last July that struck down the city's longstanding ban on carrying firearms in public. Basically, what the DC Attorney General has said was that we need to focus our energies not on litigating old laws, but defending new ones that our leaders enacted in good faith to comply with court rulings while still protecting public safety.
The new one that pretty much did nothing but put the old law back in place with some minor revisions.
Yeah. So we'll find out what happens.
Appreciate that.
We'll find out. We'll
And
find out what happens with that. Are we getting good?
Yep.
Good.
Davy's good.
Oh, good. Yay. Okay. So, all right. Excellent. Also in the news. So I wanted to bring you guys up to date on that because that broke just before the show. And
have to put a shout out to some of our folks out on their favorite forums, since that's
do it.
where
Maryland
our
Shooters.
attention got pulled from. So thank you to Swiniker for posting that one up in one of the threads.
Yep. But as I scrolled down, on this same page, your favorite mine delegate, Anna Gutierrez, says she's seriously considering running to replace Chris Van Hollen in Congress. She's 73.
Woohoo.
Yes, she is 73. She is a delegate, a former Montgomery County Board of Education member, and who represents Van Hollen's old State House district. Good luck with that. And we'll just leave it there.
We're going easy tonight, huh?
Yeah, well, people have to actually know your name in order to be voting for you. So, like I said, she might think that her little part of the world knows her, but she needs congressional race is a massive thing. I know, I've worked one. I was a press secretary, and it is a massive undertaking. So,
I bet.
it's very difficult. But anyway, what else have I got? Okay, Maryland might owe federal government millions for healthcare exchange and audit fines.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, this is also from the Washington Post, shockingly. A federal audit of Maryland's once troubled health insurance exchange found that the state waited too long to formally update its enrollment projections and numbers with federal grant providers, resulting in misallocation of $28.4 million. So they're being advised by Department of Health and Human Services that they should go through and they should repay the money and then properly apply for reimbursement. But, they might only get, actually, the most they'll get back is 90%. The least they'll get back is 50%. So at the maximum, $14.2 million out the window.
Well, gee, that just goes piled right on top of the complete waste of what the program was to begin with, anyway. So,
for heaven's sakes.
yeah, it's another one of those winning nails in the coffin of
Anthony Brown, right? Yeah. So, if you know anybody that voted for Anthony Brown, go give him hell, because he was in charge of this.
But now it's more funds that we're going to have to come up with somewhere to repay back
right,
stuff.
Right, and it's going to be
should rightfully be investigated, but probably won't.
Right. It's it's going to be up to Governor Hogan to solve this problem, and of course, it's just going to be very difficult. So, so you can thank Anthony Brown and Martin O'Malley, actually, because Martin O'Malley put him in charge of that. So,
yep.
God help his
So
soul.
wasn't it? Wait a minute. I believe the Theresa was his one job he had to do.
One job. One job. Just one job. And he said it was going to be the best in the nation and blah, 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 blah.
The best in the nation, which is why we have the same system Connecticut does.
Right. Exactly.
Woohoo! Winning.
Yeah. No. I think you're in. Okay. So Joe, I think you're in. Because I see J underbar, and that looks like my friend Joe. So, Joe, I think you are in the chat room. You just need to go to the bottom of the window and type in the long square thing. One of these days, I teach that boy computers. But anyway, in the hunt to be the 2016 GOP pick, top contenders agree on one thing: guns. Go figure. Most Republicans support the Second Amendment.
Oh, gee, I'm surprised.
I'm shocked. I'm just shocked. But it was really interesting about the article in and again in the Washington Post. I apologize, but they had some good ones this week, so I'll give them credit where their credit is due. 15 noteworthy contenders for the Republican Party's presidential nomination. Together, they own at least 40 guns. My first thought was, that's it? There's 15 of them. I mean, I'm not going to say how many are my safe, but let's put it this way. I think between what you have and what I have, we beat them.
No, I don't have a whole lot. So
I didn't say you did. I just said between the two of us. I didn't say how many you had. So it's just, unbelievable. Are you kidding me? But anyway, but whatever, as long as they support our rights. Some of them have been building their collections since childhood. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina is up to 12 now. And I'm sorry, I had to giggle about that. You've seen my safe. I including an AR-15 assault weapon that he's talked about using if law and order ever breaks down in his neighborhood. I've got 3 80%, and then what do you call it? If it's not an 80%, what do you call it? I've got another one that needs to be, doesn't have the serial number on it.
if it doesn't have a serial number on it, it is probably an 80%. If it has a serial number on it that you purchased from somewhere else, it's just an unfinished lower.
Okay, well then I have 3 unfinished lowers and 1 80%.
Okay.
That's what I've got. So Rock River, I think, is what I got for the unfinished lowers because I got them quick before they banned them. So mine are legal. I just have to build them out. Another story for another day. That's another thing we should do. Have a build out party. I think it'd be fun.
You have to get off of your backside and figure out what it is you want to put in them.
I know. Well, I need a job too, so I can buy all that stuff. Other city kids who didn't own guns until later in life, Senator Marco Rubio, but he now has a .357 Magnum revolver that he bought in 2010 when he ran for Senate for protection.
Oh, and he also has a grandstanding bill that he just put in too.
Would you like to talk about that? Go
Well,
right ahead.
just briefly. I mean, he's got one. I don't know what the bill number is because I don't think it's actually been assigned one yet. But
I was just trying to see what the date on it was.
it's sometime within the past week, if I remember right. Given that I sent it to you as a show prep.
Mhm. You did.
To restore the Second Amendment rights in the District of Columbia. Just a rather large bill.
Yeah. All 41 pages of it.
Yeah, 41 pages of bill that's broken out into multiple sections, trying to basically eviscerate the city council's role in restricting firearms within the district. Interesting, great. A bill that has to go into play for one. I can look at it and go, well, the District of Columbia is already, per the Constitution, a federal zone.
Right.
It's a federal protectorate. Therefore, the Constitution, if it should apply anywhere in these 50 states, should be applying in the District of Columbia. At the same time, it to me just reeks of grandstanding just because it's put out as a 41-page bill that probably isn't going to go anywhere.
I think you have to turn the volume up.
On who?
I guess you. I don't know.
Frogman, if you could tell me who you think the volume needs to be turned up on so that I can pop the right mic up.
I cannot believe that somebody would actually think I'm not loud enough. I mean, for heaven's sakes. But it's possible, I suppose. It is possible. No, I gave. Okay. Do you want? What else do you want to say about that bill?
Bolts. Not
What?
fessing up. Not fessing up to how many, but Graham's entire collection is less than my AR section.
I'm just saying. See, I'm see. I'm not the only one. I got a question coming in through Facebook. When they click the link for the chat room, do they have to put in what room they want to be in?
Depends on which one you did. Let me pull up that link that you shot out and let me make sure it's formatted right.
Okay.
If there isn't one in there, then you put in, for whoever's asking that, put in the £, lock and load with the lock and load, all capitalized words. So it's going to be capital L lock, capital A and capital L load.
No spaces, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, all right, we got that straightened out. Okay. So anyway, so yes, Marco Rubio has a .357. Two other city-bred presidential hopefuls, Jeb. Really? I did not know that Jeb Bush was city-bred. That's interesting. Jeb Bush and Chris Christie do not own guns at all. The stories behind how they got their guns, or in some cases why they didn't, are as diverse as the field themselves. In fact, with the exception of Christie, the field's one true outlier. Nearly every GOP contender is broadly opposed to new limits on the purchase of guns. And with the exception of Christie, those who have been rated by the National Rifle Association range from A+ all the way down to A-, except for Chris Christie, who I happen to have Shannon here today. So she looked it up and found out that Chris Christie had a C from the National Rifle Association the last time he ran, which is rather disappointing because there's a lot of stuff about him I do like, but that's kind of a problem.
Well, I mean, at one point he did campaign on an assault weapons ban, so
yeah, that's kind of a problem for me. What else do I want to say? Hold on, we got some more highlights on here. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz grew up in the suburbs of Houston, got his first exposure to guns at summer camp. But as an adult, Cruz bought 2 guns, a .357 Magnum and the Silver Pigeon. So that's on Shannon as my bucket list.
Yeah, I can bet.
Yeah, well, it's a nice gun, so it's a Beretta, And already the shotgun has become a key piece of his. This is Cruz political image. In 2013, Cruz had flown up to Iowa to go pheasant hunting with Congressman Steve King. Well, yeah, I would. Damn right. Of course, I'd take my shotgun, which isn't a Silver Pigeon, but anyway. But then again, I might not hit anything anyway. So. In Wisconsin, Scott Walker didn't grow up hunting, but he got his first guns in the mid-30s. A shotgun he won at a raffle, and a rifle he won as a gift. Now he hunts deer, and actually he tweets about him hunting deer. In 2013, wow, is it cold out? He wrote on Twitter, posting a selfie from his deer stand. The deer must think the same thing as I haven't seen a thing. So apparently, I'm not the only one that doesn't get any. Although I'm going to catch hell about that too. So, yeah.
So where's Dan and others to talk about it?
Yeah, Tom's across the street, not listening. We'll leave him there. Dan's busy. Thank God. So anyway, Bobby Jindal purchased a snub-nosed, laser-sighted S&W 38 revolver after Hurricane Katrina, and he keeps it for home defense. Although his home is now heavily
for self-defense, for home defense. Okay,
that's what he says. That's what it says. It's in the post. It must be true. Just saying. Of course, Donald Trump owns an H&K 45 and a Smith & Wesson 38. What is it about the 38?
I don't know. I don't like him personally, but that's just me.
I mean, I've never shot one, but I never had an inclination to shoot one.
I'm not a big revolver fan anyway. So.
But what's with all these guys? First of all, traditionally, when a woman walks into a gun store, they want her to get a revolver. What are we giggling at? You Miss John? Shut up. What's wrong?
I have no idea. The fact that he's not in here picking on you.
Oh, whatever. All right, duly noted. Moving on. Yeah, but what is it with all these guys with these revolvers? And then we get down to Carly Fiorina, who's a former tech executive, chief executive officer. She's considering a presidential run. She owns 5 guns. Her self-defense plan revolves around a Glock 17 9mm, not a revolver, which I'm quite pleased about. But her statement on this article was kind of silly. Quote, I know where it is. I know how to unlock it. I know how to load it. And I know how to shoot it. That was her whole statement. I am summarily unimpressed with that.
Well, I mean, if you know where it is and you know how to unlock it and how to load it, well, then that means exactly what when you actually need it.
Right. And I don't know. Can you hit anything? Do you practice with it? Yeah. Walker, they go on in the article and talk about Walker signing the Castle Doctrine, and in Florida, Bush signed a measure known as Stand Your Ground, which gave gun owners the same leeway to defend themselves in public, not just at home. And as he signed it, an NRA lobbyist, of course the Post has to say this, the Post, always has to get their dig in. As he signed it, an NRA lobbyist was literally looking over his shoulder, because I'm sure that was the only person standing behind the governor, Jeb Bush.
Because the only people ever standing there is one person. They're not surrounded by a crowd of looky-loos. No, not at all.
No, and I'm not in a whole bunch of those pictures with the former governor, with bills that Michael got passed. The sound of our guns, the non-gun-owning Bush once said at an NRA convention, is the sound of freedom. Working for me. And then in Senate, Rubio, Graham, Cruz, and Senator Rand Paul all helped torpedo Senate bills that would have expanded background checks on gun sales and limited the size of ammunition magazines. The measures have been proposed in the wake of Newtown. Gun Owners of America. Oh, this was okay. I don't know this group very well, and maybe you guys love them. So pardon me if I step on your toes, but based on what I read in this article, they're bats. They're just freaking bats. Gun Owners of America well, all right, let me preface this. The field is so alike on guns that even aggressively pro-gun groups, whose business it is to be more hardline than the NRA, appear to be having trouble finding differences in their views. The Gun Owners of America, for instance, has decided that Bush is less friendly to guns than many other candidates, but not because of his views on guns, okay, but because of his views on immigration. For us, the amnesty question is a Second Amendment issue. It's a Second Amendment issue because it's going to channel a net of 8 million anti-gun voters into the voter pool, said Hammond, the group's legislative counsel. But I went on to, they explain what they mean about immigrants, but they don't explain how they got that number and how they decided that 8 million people are going to be anti-gun if they are allowed to if they're allowed to enter this country legally.
I
Who writes these people's press releases?
Geez, so that's another thing we need to put on people's list. Press release training.
Oh my God.
I think we were talking about that a little earlier.
Yes, we were.
Off the air.
Yes, we were. People should listen to me more. My banner, because Andy said so. Because, Vinnie DeMarco says so. It must be true. Therefore, I said it, so it must be so. See, I did work Vinnie DeMarco in there. Somebody asked me about that earlier. So Tim, I think it was Tim. He said, but you'll be pleased to know, you all will be very pleased to know that according to Dan Gross, president of the Bay Brady campaign to prevent gun violence, I do think Christie is the only one that we could assign a glimmer of hope to. And even that is relative. You want to talk about the kiss of death? Yeah, you're done. Former Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton has in the past embraced far-reaching gun control ideas. During her 2000,
only in the past.
I'm just saying. Actually, I'm just reading. In her 2000 Senate campaign, she said she endorsed the idea of a national registry for all gun sales. But during the 2008 Democratic primary, Clinton sought to cast herself as a Democrat who understood gun owners, talking about learning to shoot with her father and about a cold morning spent duck hunting while she was First Lady of Arkansas. I shot, she reportedly said, while campaigning in Wisconsin, and I shot a banded duck. It is unclear whether Clinton has become more acquainted with firearms since then. This month, the spokesman for Clinton declined to say whether she owns a gun. Yeah. Yeah. So
She must not, because she probably would have shot Bill a long time ago.
she what?
I said she must not. She probably would have shot Bill a long time ago.
Oh, got that right. You got that right. If anybody has the wild urge to call in, wait a minute, I lost my call-in number. You allegedly can call in through Blog Talk Radio, and we will see if we can give that a go at 347-215-7762. So try that number, 347-215-7762. And if I was really special, I'd know how to make it go zizzing across the bottom of the screen, but I'm not special enough. So Rand, Ted both shoot full auto. Actually, I got an email today about qualifying to do just that, right?
You just lost your mic.
It's the cord. The cord does not like
You
me.
keep moving it.
I didn't touch the cord.
No,
I
you touched the mic.
base. Yes, well, it was in my way. So, yes, is that where she flew in under fire? Exactly. What else have we got going on in the chat room? She's the one who fought in Iraq. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Rain Man, I think you're right. 8 million was the estimated number of illegals that would get amnesty, but how do you quantify that as that they're anti-gun? I don't understand that at all.
Well, I mean, that would be a guess. You're the only thing I could attribute it to was they may be looking at it simply from it was a Democrat that gave them amnesty, therefore they'll be lifelong Democrats. But
and most of them are, most of the ones coming up from Mexico are Catholics. So that could go either way.
And I believe, just to point out something else in your forums, I believe your friend Joe is probably the user Columnar.
Oh, you think so?
Or his initials JJP.
Yes. As a matter of
he's
fact. Oh, good. He found his way in.
He's putting himself out there.
Oh, well, good.
So welcome, Joe.
Joe. So, Well, good. Yes. So, all right. Well, we will move on. Columnar. I don't even see him. I see him in the. I don't see his comments.
Go up about 2 inches.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Column being I believe he's making a joke. My father, and Joe knows my father rather well. My father used to have. Have I told you this story before? People would ask my dad what he did for a living, and he'd say, "I hunt."
Okay.
Okay. And my dad, and they would say, no. What do you do for a living? And he's like, I hunt. I show up at the Department of Labor so I can afford to go hunting. But that's what I do for a living is hunt. So in his office, and he's got all these what he calls intellectuals, basically way left of centers. And my dad is a really smart man. I mean, really, really smart. So he made up, and this is in the early days of computers, so I imagine it was quite large, but he made up this banner on his computer that said Colum Ruber. Well, some of the guys came in, they're talking to him, whatever, and they thought it was some reference to construction, because apparently if you are lazy in construction, you're called a column rubber or something like that, like you rub the column with your back instead of doing your work or whatever. But Colum Ruber is actually 2 words, and it is actually Latin. Column being neck, and ruber, like rhubarb, being red. So literally Latin for redneck.
Yep.
So, and as a matter of fact, he actually had a dog that, as only my father could, named the dog, went to register it with the AKC. And the AKC said, no, you cannot name the dog. So he spelled it DAWG. AKC kicked it back. So what did he do? He went back to Latin. Colum Ruber's canine. So anyway, yeah. So what else have I got in my pile to talk about? Oh yeah, this was a good one. Well, it's not a good one, but so there's this little boy who's 7 years old, and I am trying to. I would like to tell you what state this is in. Unfortunately, I cannot because it's on the Military Times. It doesn't. Oh, Tennessee. Boy, that's really weird. So this little boy went to Bobby Ray Memorial Elementary School. It's about 90 minutes southeast of Nashville, and he had a new haircut, and he'd requested the high and tight to be just like his active duty stepbrother. He was written up by the principal, who thought the haircut was against the school policy berning mohawk haircuts and other extreme cuts.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, I mean, they suspended this kid. So, but here's the kicker. Well, let me go down. The district statement included an apology for the distraction this may have caused in the learning environment of our school and community, but no mention of an apology for suspending the boy or that, this and the other thing. But here's the kicker. Bobby Ray Memorial Elementary School. Hold on. Bobby Ray earned the Medal of Honor posthumously for his actions with a Marine Corps unit during a 1969 battle near An Hoa, Vietnam. Ray suffered severe wounds while treating members of his unit, but continued administering aid, according to his award citation. So the school is named after this Medal of Honor winner, and even the gym is named after a gentleman who not a veteran, an active duty specialist. So I guess that would be
Army.
Okay. Who died in Afghanistan in 2010 when his unit was attacked by small arms fire. We're a small community. We're very close-knit, said the principal. Very proud of our school, very proud of the name of our school. But if you come to their school with a high and tight, prepare to be suspended.
Yes, for being disruptive, if I remember the article correctly.
Well, no, they apologized for the distraction.
No. I think there was a larger article that I found on that somewhere where the school board apologized for the disruption to the learning system and the learning events of the day, because mom sent him back to school the next day with the same haircut. Um,
Damn right.
yeah,
I
and
got no issue with that.
the school board completely punted, saying it was up. They leave those decisions up to the local school,
Yeah, and
and it's based upon the local school's determination of what is quote disruptive in their environment.
yeah. And what the mother said was, all I really want for the school, quote, all I really want for the school and the school district is to do a public apology, not just for my son, but for the fallen war heroes and veterans and the active military personnel that are in the Army now, Stinnett said. And considering the military haircut as a distraction is basically saying that our Army is a distraction.
Yeah.
I don't think she's far off the mark there. I really don't. So, we got some latecomers. Hi, Tim. Hi, Tom. Tell Torados. Tell Hairboy to go give the school a lecture about hair. Oh.
Yes, and Skipper Key, I did not print out that one for Andy for show prep today, but yes, the call out for can't wear U.S. colors at a school either. There was a federal, I want to say it's a federal court decision saying it was perfectly acceptable for a school to ban U.S. flag clothing as it created a disruptive environment in schools.
What is wrong? Was that where? Do you know what state that happened?
I'll
in?
get it. I'll look it up here real quick.
I mean, what is wrong with these people? I don't understand. Actually, Lily wanted to wear my Glock sweatshirt to school the other day, and I was, because we live on the shore, I was kind of tempted to let her go ahead, and I was like, yeah, maybe not. I'm not sure what their reaction would be, but if she came to me and said, Mommy, I want to buy this shirt and it's got the American flag on, I mean, technically speaking, you're not supposed to wear the American flag. But if you're doing it respectfully, I don't have any issues with it. So, all right. Find something.
So apparently it's the Supreme Court rejected an appeal from the students that were banned from wearing a shirt emblazoned with the American flag on Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, so it was the Looney Ninth, and the Supreme Court denied cert. So basically, once again, we've got the newspapers just going, the Supreme Court is behind this. Not understanding that denying cert does not mean that they're taking a position. It specifically means they are not taking a position. But the Looney Ninth is the one that
I didn't touch it. They said they couldn't wear. They said it was okay to ban the wearing of the flag or flag clothing
Yes.
on Cinco de Mayo.
could not wear it. I remember this was a couple of years ago.
I do.
There was a group of students out in LA who had decided to wear American flag shirts
Right.
on Cinco de Mayo and were sent home for disrupting and ended up going through the court system. I don't remember what the
And the
lower
court
court
system
ruling was.
said,
The Ninth Circuit agreed with the school system that they could ban it because it created a disruptive environment.
because what you wear creates a disruptive environment. Okay, well, you know what? If you're buying off on that,
So federal judges in San Francisco in the Ninth Circuit rejected their free speech claim on the grounds that school officials had a reasonable fear that their shirts could provoke fighting or a disruption of the school's activities.
okay, if that's what you're going with, see, I didn't touch it. But if that's what you're going with, then why aren't your kids all in uniforms?
Yep.
Seriously. Okay. And public schools do it. I taught at one. So I get this doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. Okay. If you're going to sit there and complain about, what the kids wear, I mean, okay, fine. I understand there are extreme cases. If you're going to wear shirts with cuss words and things like that, and, that is specifically designed to provoke a strong reaction, gang symbols.
Okay, but even then, the First Amendment either means what it means or it doesn't.
So go to school uniforms.
So,
And as the
And
mother,
yes,
and as the mother of a
Rayman,
teenage, go ahead.
in answer to your question, Rayman, yes, the students who wish to celebrate Cinco de Mayo by wearing Mexican flag shirts were allowed to do so.
But as the mother of a 13-year-old girl who goes to a public school, I'm all for school uniforms. I got no issues with that. I think it's no uniforms, because dress codes can be interpreted. You wear a uniform, that's it. But they did that when I was teaching in Glass Manor in Prince George's County, which is right over this line in Southeast. The kids all wore uniforms. They had green Glen plaid skirts, and the boys wore blue pants, I think. And the kids who came from families they couldn't afford, there was, I don't know, grant money or whatever. But it all worked out. And you know what? I'm down. It kept a lot of crap at bay. So, in other news, in Glendale, Arizona, actually, this is one of the ones I didn't get to last week that I thought was important. The headline from BuzzPo.com: disabled veteran has firearms confiscated after neighbor makes false allegations. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, yeah, I mean, BuzzPo wrote it, therefore it must be so. But what BuzzPo does accurately, I assume, point out, Rick Bailey was honorably discharged from the Navy with a medical discharge in 1986. He then worked as a software systems engineer until 2001. Till 2001, when he finally had to retire due to medical reasons. So he got into a spat with his neighbor. Okay, that's the long and the short of this. Who did what to who, whatever. But at the end of the day, a couple months later, actually, his neighbor went to court and asked for a protective order and said, well, a long time ago, he threatened me. So the judge granted it, and the police came after and took this disabled veteran's, took his entire firearm collection based on nothing, based on some guy saying he threatened me. So I'm sorry, I didn't think you were supposed to come after, but apparently in Arizona it isn't as friendly as I thought it would be. But they did include the documents, which I wasn't able to read because frankly I can't read that small. But I thought Arizona was a little more gun friendly.
Well, I mean, Arizona's got its own loony little areas too, but
Apparently, the veteran obviously plans to appeal this court order, but Judge Baxter issued the injunctions, and the Glendale Police Department confiscated his collection of firearms. Took him a lifetime to accumulate. 28 guns were taken, valued at over $25,000. Within his collection was a World War II M1 Garand, valued at $5,500, and a Winchester 1897 pump shotgun. So apparently there's a GoFundMe page that's been set up to assist Mr. Bailey with his legal fees that he'll likely encounter trying to recover these guns. But I mean, are you kidding me? I just feel so bad for him. All because somebody just said so. They didn't have to go to court and prove it. They didn't have to provide any evidence. I mean, here in the state of Maryland, if I want a permit to carry, I have to have an active threat and it has to be documented. There, apparently, it's just say so and they come and get them.
well, I mean, there were delegates. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember whether it was our friend Mr. Simmons or one of the others on the judiciary that wanted to do something. I can't remember off the top of my head which bill number it was or what the bill contents were, but it was something related to reducing the burden of proof on TROs and final restraining orders for anything related to firearm stuff, and basically lowering it down to what was it? And basically, it classed it as presumption of guilt, if I remember right. It made it so loosely worded that, I mean, even the committee didn't like it. So, I mean, I know it didn't go anywhere, but
Thank God. That is one thing that Joe is good about. He'll keep some of the more Looney Tune stuff out of there too. So, do we have any news? Pelosi. He's been installed, and I haven't heard anything. I know our friend Tim is having a tough time, so we'll see what happens. No, I've heard no movement on the bills that were heard on Gun Bill Day in the House or the Senate. Would kind of tend to guess that means that nothing's going to move, but it's session. Anything happens, and it happens quickly if it's going to happen at all. I literally have seen bills get by the skin of their teeth on sine die at 11:55 that we thought would never get a vote. So,
I'm just taking a look real quick at the list to see if anything's changed.
okay. I'm going through the chat room just to make sure. Andy, maybe, who knows if that would even work. I'm not sure what he's saying there, but that's all right. Pro 2A and right to carry is not synonymous to politicians. No, Skipper Key, you're right. You are very right. Hey, this is something interesting. I might want to go to Indianapolis for a visit. The first of its kind gun range in the Midwest recently opened in Indianapolis. Former Navy SEAL Jesse Barnett was in a 24-hour news. This is from WISHTV.com to explain what makes Poseidon Experience different. The range is a digital indoor shooting range that uses real weapons without deadly force. Barnett said it historically was used by the military and law enforcement for training purposes. The range is effective for both beginners and experts as it doesn't use actual bullets. I thought that was pretty interesting, actually, because if I could take the gun that I keep for my home defense, I won't say where I keep it, but and I could go practice like with it, rolling and learning the tactical stuff in a controlled. I think that would be great. That's what I loved about Z7 Tacticals classes, is we were running around. We had active shooter training, and not that I'd be brilliant at it, but at least I have some clue. I mean, I need to take the class again and continue to train, but that was a fun class. So, and actually I talked to Amelia, and if anybody wants to take that class, we can do that class. I think she said for about, it's either $100 or $150 a person, but that's a whole day. And God knows we know the way to the range.
Would this be the one I borrowed at before? So just cycling back, because some of the comments here, Rayman, there's a bunch of us that I can't say I'm furious about no action on SB 100 because I really didn't think we were going to see anything, and the stuff having not come out of committee. Yes, Tim, it is realistic to see nothing happen on any of the bills. So I worked in Mike's office last year. Personal reasons, I'd been out of a job and walked into Andy's office and said, "You need help?" So I kind of got to look at from the other side of the fence and get a little bit more of an understanding about how some of the games work and how they're played. It's not unusual. In Maryland, it is entirely within the power of the chairperson of the committee. So it is very typical for things like this to happen. Rain Man, I'm glad you contacted the sponsors of the bill. The sponsors of the bill can certainly reach out to Senator Zirkin and try to see if he'll give it some movement out of his committee. But the truth of the matter is if the senator doesn't want it to come out of the committee, it won't. It's almost amusing. Sine die during the afternoon. I spent that part of that afternoon before the floor session with Mike and Andy and Dan and Alex and a couple of others down in the committee room. And Joe, just out of Chairman Valerio, out of his sense of humor of both him and his office staff, had a little coffin-shaped box that they called the chairman's drawer that was sitting out on the table.
I didn't see that.
Yep, it was sitting out on Joe, right in the head of the committee table. That's right next to, right in front of Joe's chair was the box of bills that weren't going anywhere, just sitting there wide open. It is. I'm sure there is some arm twisting and everything else that can go on, from the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate. But the reality is their committees are their committees, and just like on Capitol Hill, the chairman of a committee has a lot of power in how
Oh,
far the
heck
legislation
yeah.
is going to move. So, yes, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot come out. It's the first year after an election. It's the first session into a new governorship with a governor of the opposite party than the houses happen to be. I don't. This year's non-movement doesn't surprise me at all personally, but
Yeah, and everybody's sitting. First of all, we've got so many freshmen. We don't expect. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at the video since we're not running through my internet, and the video looks really good.
I haven't downgraded the bandwidth on this one at all. So it's actually doing HD video right now.
So, yeah, it looks really good. You wrote to Reedy asking, no reply. Huh. I don't know. Next time, put Aaron's name in it. He's the chief of staff over there. So, put Aaron's name in the subject line. Maybe you get more attention. I don't know what to tell you. If the people want those bills voted on, how can they keep them buried? Okay, so Raymond, how this goes is we finally have the ability to petition out to the floor in the House. So if a bill gets buried in committee and the Republican caucus wants a bill voted on for whatever reason, let's say they want everybody to be on the record for where they stand on the Second Amendment. It could be taxes. It could be anything. The rain tax is another good example. Getting, if that gets bogged down in committee and then the Republican caucus decides to get together, they could petition it to the floor and get a vote on it. Now, it may get voted down, but frankly, I think that's an awesome idea. And I think that's something they should be doing early and often. Why not? Okay. Oh, well, we'll irritate the liberals. Well, we have to get along. Well, you know what? Why? They don't want to get along with us when it comes to stuff that we want. They're only about bipartisanship. The liberals are only about bipartisanship when their guy isn't in the governor's house, or when they have way too many that they know there's nothing. When last year, when we couldn't petition stuff out of the House without going to finding some friendly Dems. They weren't interested in bipartisanship and holding hands and this and that and the other thing. And I'm not talking about retribution here. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying they set the rules. Let's play by them. I'm okay with that. So yes, we do need voting records. I agree. Video and audio, good. So I don't know. Okay, Cypher, I don't know about how to do
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I always sound like a monotonous fool anyway.
I don't know what their strategy is. I imagine it's we have too many freshmen and we're afraid to do anything because we all want to get along and sing Kumbaya. But I thought the governor's budget as presented was terrific. I thought that the changes that were made to it were not terrific. And I know that my own delegate from this county voted against it. And you know what? I'm down with that. Okay. Because it was not the budget that the governor put forward. And the budget that he put forward was very good. Now, what we got wasn't terrible. Believe me.
Fortunately, the way the state balance of power is here anyway. The governor gets to propose the bill. And the only thing that can be done from there is modifications to the funding mechanisms, but no additional monies. And the only thing that they can do is cut from one, give to another, if I remember the rules correctly, but they can't add to it. So
Right. And no, there is not a majority of Republicans in the Senate that could petition a vote on any Senate bill. We don't have enough Republican senators. We can petition in the House. We cannot petition in the Senate. What we were shooting for as a party, we were shooting for a veto-proof minority party in the Senate, and we did not get that, which is really kind of a shame. Right. But you've got to have a caucus and caucus leadership that are willing to do that. And for whatever reason, they are choosing not to.
Please remember, dear, you have to tell people what you're talking about. They can't always know what you're referencing.
Oh, I'm sorry. So in the chat room, thank you. In the chat room, they're asking, could they petition the cross file of Senate Bill 100, which is the repeal of the Firearm Safety Act? Could they petition that to the floor? Yes, it could be done, but the caucus would have to decide they want to do it, and then and that requires leadership to, lead the way and do it. And it doesn't look to me that they are interested. So I can't, I have my own feelings as to why that is. But they're my own personal opinions. I got to tell you, I have no idea why they won't do it. It makes no sense to me. So yes, we need a caucus with guts. It's not the word that they use, but
it's
yes.
before 9 o'clock, so we could say gonads.
Yes, guts. So yes, Montoya. So bills will not make it out of committees. Do we know of any behind-the-scene work being done for the governor to take the lead on after sine die? I'm really not sure what you mean about that. If you're talking about good and substantial, I don't have any idea. I will not even remotely pretend to have insight into what the governor has planned, because frankly, I got none. I have high hopes. I have expectations, but what he's going to do, what his directives are going to be, what his policies are going to be, we're all sitting together waiting and praying. So Pelosi just got sworn in, I think it was last week, as a matter of fact. So
it was before our show last week.
So maybe give him a chance to get his feet wet.
And
I don't know.
So Rain Man, theoretically, yes, House Bill 767 could be petitioned in the House out of the committee. But like Andy just said, that requires the caucus actually taking a leadership role and actually doing something with it. I was not present at any meetings, I haven't been down to Annapolis a whole bunch other than the hearing days. So I doubt, and I don't have any other relationships with those folks anyway, but more from what I see of the party leadership at the moment, while they have enough members to do a petition, I don't see them trying anything this year. I think it's go along to get along year.
No, the rumor I'm hearing is they're not going to do anything. So the question is, would it do any good to make a bunch of noise in the House to petition a vote just to get everybody on the record? Rayman, we've got 4 years. And I think, I don't think it's mission critical this year that we do that. I don't. I think we can wait and see what's going to happen. I mean, let's put it this way. I don't see it getting through anyway, the Firearm Safety Act. I would like to see them petition a solid 2A bill, like, I don't know, no good time credits, no good time credits, no dim credits for felonies committed with a firearm. I think that's something everybody can agree on. That is a good example of a bill that they could dip their little toes in the water on and petition to the floor. Because I can't imagine, other than a criminal attorney, anybody objecting to that. And I think that's why I won't get out of judiciary, because we have criminal attorneys on there, and that's fine. That's, everybody's got a right to be represented in court, and I don't have an issue with that. But if you're going to petition something out, but it doesn't have to be this year. It's just, I feel like I would have liked to have seen some chutzpah, from the get-go. But don't know what position is vacant.
I think they're saying that the handgun licensing, Jack's old position.
Oh, to be a trooper and apply for that job. Wouldn't we all have a ball if I were that? if I got that job? Yeah, don't think they'd have me. Pretty sure they wouldn't. So, Interestingly enough, this is the last thing I've got, by the way. Interestingly enough, Daily Caller from a couple days ago. FBI Director James Comey testified in front of a House panel on Wednesday to discuss the agency's 2016 budget, but he ended up making a profound point about the issue of concealed carry. Before his stint as head of the FBI, Comey, I guess, worked for more than 2 decades as a federal prosecutor. Quote, you mentioned earlier about criminals with guns. I doubt you've ever had a problem with a concealed carry permit holder who was licensed with a background check using their good judgment, Culberson said at the end of Comey's 2-hour testimony. Could you comment on that as a law enforcement officer? Quote, I haven't had situations where there has been problems with that, Comey said. Quote, with a concealed carry permit holder, Culberson asked. Quote, not that I can remember. That's a law enforcement officer. That's a law enforcement officer's best backup, particularly if he's a Texan, Culberson said. I love that line. Particularly if he's Texan. The Texan Republican asked Comey about a concealed carry as a follow-up to a question posed by a Pennsylvania Democrat, Chaka Fattah, a staunch gun control advocate. Fattah asked Comey, what's your thought about what we should be doing and thinking about as a nation vis-a-vis the question of firearms? Now, what the hell that has to do with the budget? I don't know. But anyway, this is Capitol Hill. Comey declined to give his thoughts on the availability of guns, but instead focused on his experience prosecuting gun and toting criminals. Quote, I've spent a lot of my time as a prosecutor trying to make sure that criminals, I think they mean criminals, were deathly afraid of getting caught with a gun. Quote, if a criminal is caught, obviously committing a crime with a gun or just possessing it, there are severe consequences. Comey's differentiation between legal concealed carry permits and criminal carriers is something that's lost on many pro-gun gun control activists and lawmakers. Again, that's from the Daily Caller. And then they do go on in that article and mention Jack McCauley's testimony, and he said after he set out to research the issue, he spoke to pro-gun groups who promptly schooled him on the issue, and he realized that this is Jack McCauley. His fears weren't justified, and that nearly all concealed carry permits holders were responsible gun owners. And so apparently, director of the FBI agrees. I mean, that's what I got from his quotes. Not reading into them, but just from his quotes. Did you? What did you do? Hey! Why are you in the chat room slapping me around with a large trout? And how did Cypherpunk? Did you make him a what you call it?
Yes, to provide us some backup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, so why did you slap me around with a large trout?
Just because.
Oh,
I'm trying to get your attention.
I might like that. Anyway, it is after 9, so we're okay. I'm just checking the chat room. You should PIA your file, Tim. Yeah. Well,
So there's a comment, a couple up from that to put that in context is that 2A also pointed out that in at least the statement that he made was that Sergeant Knob trolls MDS and looks for permit applicants' names. So don't know if it's true or not. I wouldn't put it
what do you
past
mean?
him. But,
He looks for permanent applicants' names.
well, there's some of us. So, for example, our friend that just posted up that he did not get his
Right.
is in there as a released name. His name's that's the name he uses in the boards. So some of us use names that are meaningless. Some of us use names that are close to our own or have something specific.
So you
to
mean
us.
what the rumor is? What the rumor is that this guy goes to the MD shooters and looks up the names and won't give them the rabble rousers? I mean, is that the implication?
I have no idea.
Well, what's the rumor?
Oh, that's in there. Look up above where I slapped you with a fish.
Knob trolls and looks for permanent applicants' names. Okay. I don't know. Oh, you should be
Yes,
proud, Cypher. You got kicked out of an HPRB meeting. You should be very proud. You have the same good and substantial as any other realtor, but home inspector friend got a permit this week. Mike, back away from the microphone.
Well, yeah, they can hear me breathing every now and then. I can tell you that. I can hear me breathing every now and then too. So, but they're also calling back
I'd
to the
be
fact that
afraid if I couldn't hear you breathing. Wouldn't that mean bad
no.
things?
Well, you shouldn't. So
Wouldn't
a
that
couple,
mean you'd be meeting
couple of the
EMTs,
comments.
local EMTs?
No, a couple of the comments, for example, is that you really need a screen in front of your mic because that would even out some of the sounds. So some of your words go high, some go
Well,
low.
because it depends on how I turn in my chair.
Yes.
Because if I sit over here or if I sit over here, yeah.
Yes, and if I'm sitting directly in front of the microphone and too close, my nose is right over top of the mic. They can hear me
Yeah.
breathing in and out.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the mic stand is too high for me. So it's a
I won't.
fluffy bunny.
Cypher, I'm agreeing with your statement. I'm just not going to repeat that one at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're not going to repeat that on this show. Pink fluffy bunny?
I don't know.
I don't know. Love them all.
So the
Don't
only-
always understand.
So the only one that I really had on my list, we already talked about Marco Rubio's grandstanding thing.
Did you see Rayman? Well, since it's after 9,
Yes,
some
I
good
did.
quotes. Mike, go up 2 inches. Andy, twice. I didn't touch it. All right, boys, settle in. All right. What were you saying about Rubio?
No, we already talked about Rubio, so that was one of the ones you put on my list. But the other one is looks like Kansas is on its way to constitutional, or at least permitless carry. I won't say constitutional because I haven't read the bill to see what it specifically states, and how far it is in that realm. But apparently, permitless carry bill has passed both houses in Kansas and is headed to Governor Sam Brownback, who has already said that he will sign it.
Oh, to be in Kansas.
So
now that
Kansas is
spring
going permitless
here.
carry.
Nice.
What the details are related to it, let's see. Yes, T.
Cypher, stop it. Just stop it. You're a mess. Cypherpunk. I thought Vinny DeMarco was going to be a guest tonight. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, Lord. I can't even. There isn't enough wine in the world. So, Andy, correct? I've been told. Okay, so somebody in the chat room is hearing the same rumor about, and it's a rumor. Who knows? I was there when you were forced to wear them, Arcam, pink bunny slippers. I don't want to know. I really, boys, what you do amongst yourselves, really, I don't need to know. I got nothing else.
Nope, neither do I.
Okay.
So
All right. Let's see.
short show tonight.
Short show. I guess Dan will be back next week.
Boy.
Dan is at Berwyn Gun Club with Shannon this evening. She's speaking. Actually, that means that there'll be a Wednesday in May that I won't be here. So Sunday is Easter. Hope everybody has pink bunny feet and happy candy and a very holy and blessed day. And then we will be back on next Wednesday. And you never know what's going to pop up in my studio, or who's going to pop up in my studio is what I should say before I get tackled in the chat room. And then the Wednesday after that, we'll be done with Sign and Die. So we'll have a post show wrap up and see what's going on. We'll see who we can get to call in and wrap up. And
So John's in the other room.
John took Lily to dinner, and so they didn't get back until too late to do the show. And so Mike graciously jumps in and helps me, and actually does a great job with the producing because I couldn't found all this stuff. So is he in the crawl space? Not yet. No. He's also running about 6,000 files or something for work. So, but anyway, the Carroll County meetup. Do I know who Arcam is? Don't tell me on the air, but do I know who that is? ARCAMM? I don't know who that is. But I'm really bad with the usernames. I'll come to a Carroll County meetup. Okay. I should broadcast live from the Handgun Permit Review Board. Yeah, I'm thinking that's not going to go well. Really thinking they're not going to be happy about that. So,
So Knob has my name now. Yeah, Knob is the trooper that did the review of mine, and in Mike's words, did a very poor one. And he was the one who presented the case in front of the HPRB that ended up with my denial. So.
Oh, that's right. And yeah, we need to keep Blue 45 in our hearts. Well, in our prayers, because he's apparently very sick, and hopefully he will be amongst us, giving me a hard time again very, very soon. And we'll find out. Yeah, Tim, keep us in the loop. And that's it. That's all I got. You got some exit music or no?
No, I don't think I really had anything exit-wise.
Well, then I will say Happy Easter to everybody. And Passover has already been and gone, I think. Usually-
not being Jewish, I don't know that.
Usually, anyway. Rain Man, behave yourself. All right, I'm getting out before I get into trouble. And we will see you next Wednesday. Same bat station, same bat time. And we are out
Same
of here.
bat time, same bat channel.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, Captain Chesapeake.
Weren't we just having lunch
you didn't
about?
grow up here. You don't know. You
No,
don't know
I
about
don't know
Captain Chesapeake.
I've been told about it before.
Y'all need to educate him about Captain Chesapeake. Okay, that's it. That's y'all's homework next week. While we get ready for the show, you educate Mike about Captain Chesapeake. So, all right, we're out.
So good night, all.
Night.